Hey guys, SpinoDude here, and today I am super excited to be taking a look at a brand new 2016 Papo figure that was just released. So Marvin, bring it out. Thank you, Marvin. So today, guys, we are going to be taking a look at this. It is the absolutely beautiful 2016 Papo Kaprosuchus. Now, if you didn't know, Caprosuchus is my favorite prehistoric non-dinosaur. So I was absolutely thrilled when I heard that Papo was making one for 2016. And here we have it in hand, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. So before we start the review, I just want to send out a big thank you to Everything Dinosaur for sending this out to me. You have fantastic service and your shipments come in incredibly fast, so thank you so much. So without further ado, guys, let's start with the review. Before we start taking a closer look at the figure, here are a few quick facts about Caprosuchus itself. Caprosuchus saharicus means boar crocodile. It was an ancient crocodilian relative that lived in the late Cretaceous period of what is now Niger, Africa. It was a terrestrial predator that hunted dinosaurs, and it could grow up to 11 feet long. Caprosuchus gets its name from its tusk-like teeth, which resemble those of a wild boar. A couple of its extinct relatives include Laganosuchus and Mahajangasuchus. So without further ado, guys, let's start taking a closer look at this formidable crocodilian relative. So we're going to start up at the head, and right away you can see the fantastic detail that Papo has put into this model. Papo, you've done it again. This is fantastic. You can see the fearsome reptilian eyes painted in gold to give it a reflective look. And I love all the different size scales all over the body. It makes it look so naturalistic. On the tip of the snout you can see a couple nostrils carved out there, and you can see the shaping of the beautiful crocodile head as we look down from the top here. You can see all the different sized teeth which gave Caprosuchus its name. And if you're familiar with Papo's other figures, most of their carnivores have articulated jaws, but this one's articulated jaw is very different from the others. Papo's other models have lower jaws that are articulated, but this one has an upper jaw that is articulated, and it works out fantastically with this model, and it looks brilliant. You can just see how wide that opens up and what a fearsome look it gives this animal just when the mouth is opened. Look at all those formidable teeth. It looks fantastic. The interior of the mouth has been sculpted and painted even all the way in the back of the throat. You can see the inside of the upper jaw there as well, fantastically detailed. And the interior of the mouth has been given a glossy coat of paint over it, which makes it look genuinely wet. It looks absolutely brilliant. And looking at the back of the head, you can see when you start to open the jaw how that little bit of scaly skin just folds away into the back of the neck. And you couldn't even tell that this has an articulated jaw. It looks fantastic. It's blended in so nicely to the sculpt. And looking at it from this angle, if you look all the way in the back of the throat, you can see how the throat area just folds away into the bottom of the skull when we push it down and open it. So that's fantastic work, and it blends in so nicely, like I said. So moving down the neck, you can see the baggy throat area that crocodiles and alligators have today. I really like that addition to this model because it makes it look really naturalistic. You can see the wide squarish scales that crocodilians have. Looks fantastic. Moving down into the shoulder area, you can see more of these squarish scales there. Looks fantastic. Nice toned musculature in the leg. Moving down into the hand area, you can see the 5 digits on the front limb sprawled out. You can see some gray painted claws on the tip of each finger there. Looks fantastic. Moving back up the arm and into the body, you can see how it almost gets this reptilian armor plating on the back, and it looks absolutely brilliant. I love that. Underneath you can see the squarish scales on the stomach here. Looks absolutely brilliant. Those are in a tan color, and it transitions into almost an orangey color here, which then transitions into the grayish black color, which has a little hint of green in some areas, but it's kind of hard to see. So moving up into the hind leg, you can see how the scales get smaller for the top of the leg here. Looks really natural. Moving down the leg, I really like these scales on the back of the shin here. That looks fantastic. And the back foot has 4 digits with 4 gray painted claws, and they look brilliant. So moving back up the leg and into the tail area, now I absolutely love the tail on this model. The scale detail is fantastic, and I love the mixing of colors that they put into this part of the model. You can see the different size scales. There's some rounded ones here, and then there's some large square scales on the bottom there. I love the rows of these huge reptilian scales on top of the model. Looks fantastic. I love how they all join up from the back and run along into the tail. Going up into the beautifully curved tail, I love how it ends in that flick position. That looks fantastic. And I love how the scales get big on the top of the tail here. That looks absolutely brilliant. So moving down the other side of the model, you can see from the top here how all these rows of crocodilian scales meet up into this one row on the very tip of the tail. I really like that addition. You can see more of these squarish scales, and I absolutely love the colors. Like I said, it's like a reddish brown color mixed with this lighter gray, and then the blackish color with some hints of dark green. It looks absolutely fantastic. Moving into the other hind leg on the other side, this one is moved forward a little bit more than the other one. You can see the detail is almost the same as the other side. There's more of those spiky scales on the back of the shin. Looks fantastic. And this foot is more flat on the ground than the other one, so you can see the 4 digits with the 4 gray painted claws. It looks fantastic. Moving back up the leg and into the body, you can see more of the reptilian armor plating on the back here. I love the colors right under that as well, with the brilliant reddish brown color mixed with the lighter gray for the underbelly. Looks fantastic. Moving up into the shoulder area, you can see how this leg is sprawled out on the side. I really like the posing of this one. You can see some smaller square shaped scales there as we go down into the hand, and you can see the 5 digits with the 5 gray painted claws in a glossy color. It looks fantastic. Moving back up the front limb, you can see the baggy skin in the neck area here, and that's because the head is turned off to the right a little bit. So if you look on the left side, the skin is a little bit more stretched out. It's still a little baggy, but if we go back over onto the right side of the model here, you can see how it's baggy because the head is slightly turned to the right. So I really like that detail, gives it a sense of realism. You can see some baggy skin under the throat here as well. That looks fantastic. And then moving up the neck a little bit more, we meet up with the other side of that wonderful head sculpt that we saw earlier. And here's what the other side looks like with the mouth open. Absolutely fearsome. So in terms of scientific accuracy with this figure, Caprosuchus is only known from a skull that was found in Africa. So we are going to focus mainly on just the skull on this model. And compared to what I've seen of Caprosuchus's restorations, this is absolutely fantastic. Papo has done a brilliant job of recreating this prehistoric beast. The shaping of the skull looks almost identical to the images I've seen. The only thing I noticed about the skull that was discovered is that it was a little bit fatter than Papo's sculpt here, but you can't really notice that from the side. It looks absolutely brilliant. Now Papo tends to go for the movie monster side of dinosaurs, but I think they've done a fantastic job here because they've captured the realistic essence of this animal and kept it really detailed and fearsome. It looks almost like I'm holding a real crocodilian right here. So I have to say this is one of my favorite models from Papo now. They've outdone themselves once again. This is a brilliant piece, the detail is phenomenal, and I absolutely love the sculpt and color scheme. So yeah, great job Papo. I am at a loss for words for just how awesome this model is. So you're probably wondering just how big this figure is, so Marvin, bring out the ruler. Thank you, Marvin. Alright, so we have our trusty flexi ruler now, so let's give this Caprosuchus a measure. So in terms of the length from the bottom jaw all the way to the tip of the curl and the tail, we are looking at 9 inches. And in terms of the height at the highest point, which is the top of the tail here, we are looking at 4 inches. For comparison, I'd like to bring in another prehistoric reptile from Papo. It's their beautiful Dimetrodon. If you want to see the review for this formidable Permian predator, link is down below. Now with these two side by side, you can see just how massive the Caprosuchus actually is. I think these two reptiles look brilliant on display next to each other. But these two creatures would have never met up because Dimetrodon lived in the late Permian period while Caprosuchus lived in the late Cretaceous period. But that doesn't mean you can't put them on display with each other. Next up for comparison, here's the Papo 2016 Caprosuchus next to the Papo Dilophosaurus. If you want to see the review of this Jurassic predator, link is down below. Now in real life, Caprosuchus measured 11 feet long and Dilophosaurus measured 20 feet long. So you can see how the scale is different, but I think these two models look good on display next to each other. It almost looks like the Dilophosaurus is circling the threatened Caprosuchus. And finally for display, here's the Papo Kaprosuchus next to our channel mascot, the huge Papo Spinosaurus. If you want to see the review for this huge Papo model, link is down below. Now Spinosaurus was another animal that lived in the Cretaceous period of Africa, so it would be appropriate to display these next to each other. But like I said, with the Dilophosaurus, the scale is off with these models. Spinosaurus measured up to 60 feet long in real life, while Caprosuchus would have been only 11 feet long. But as you can see when we put them side by side, the Caprosuchus is almost almost as long as the Spinosaurus, but I still think they look great on display next to each other. Well, there we go, guys. That was today's look at the beautiful Papo Kaprosuchus. I have to say that I am still at a loss for words at just how gorgeous this model is, and let me just say that the wait was well worth it. I'm very happy to have this with my collection right now. I really hope Papo do more prehistoric reptiles in the future because they do an absolutely gorgeous job on them. So anyway, guys, if you want to pick up this model, go to www.everythingdinosaur.com for a fantastic service and fast shipping. So anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below and subscribe for more, and leave a comment telling me your opinion on this brand new release from Papo. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.